Shalom. As always, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, to His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the true men of the Lord, who I learn this truth from daily. Come back at you with another lesson entitled, All Mirth is Turned into Lamentation. All mirth is turned into lamentation. So, for those of you that are not aware, this was a party that happened in 2018. Now, I'm using this as an example because because people like this all the time happen. Things like this happen all the time where people are gathered together in a large number, dancing on top of a building, an apartment building, and the floor collapses in and they all die. Most of them are injured. That's a good example of all mirth being turned into lamentation. All right, the Lord's turning everybody's parties, which is mirth, into lamentation, into mourning, into terrible times. All right, into crying and wailing. So the Lord's going to turn all mirth into wailing and crying. All right. So we're going to play this video. This is the video right here of all these students that were at this party. It collapsed. And a lot of people were injured. A lot of people died as well. Okay. I mean, a lot of people were injured. Excuse me. So we're going to play this video, and we're going to get into some scriptures. Let's continue.
A homecoming party turned to disaster. Clemson students who were dancing fell through the floor. Now, we're hearing from a local student who was hurt that night and the ongoing problems it has caused.
It was just blood all over the floor, and people were screaming like, "Help me, I can't feel my legs, like I can't move." And it was really scary.
In an exclusive...
So all mirth is turned into lamentation. Mourning and wailing. All right, wailing. So this is what happens when you are in that party spirit, that mirth spirit. The Lord doesn't like mirth spirits. Okay, He doesn't like it when everybody parties. Okay, because we're not in a time of celebrating, having cake and birthday parties. We're not in that time right now. We're in a time of war right now. All right, we're in a time to repent instead of playing games out here, man. Because the Lord, that was judgment from Yahweh Shai, man. Parties is just going to lead to straight up distraction. All right, distractions, and then you get caught up what's really going on out here, and then it comes upon you when you least expect it because you're too busy partying. Let's get into it. All mirth is turned into lamentation. It's gonna be a quick lesson. All mirth, bear with me 1 minute. All mirth is turned into lamentation. I'm gonna look up that word lamentation as well. This is what we're seeing. Okay, this is what happens on a daily basis where a party is happening and the floor collapses in or something happens. It always leads to destruction afterward because the Lord he doesn't like mirth. He doesn't like that party spirit. That's what mirth goes back to, partying. Isaiah 20:24-11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened, and the mirth of the land is gone. And this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for all the mirth in this wicked land to be gone. All the partying. That's what we're waiting for. And this is the city of confusion, Babylon, America. The city of confusion, because Babylon literally means confusion. All right? Land of confusion. That's where we're at right now. Babylon, confusion. America means bitter. So we're in a land of confusion, which is America. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is no crying. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And this is what we're waiting for everybody to stop partying. We're waiting for that mirth to be taken out of the land, because everybody's walking in great pride and they're going to all these parties and just partying all the time. Being mirthful. Verse 12. And the city is left to desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. So I wanted to get to the main point where it talks about, real quick. Let's go up. It speaks about, let me see. Bear with me here 1 minute. So that's what we're waiting for. The mirth in the land is the mirth being taken out of the land. That's what all I know. You brothers are waiting for the same thing. You brothers in this truth. Those of you that are in this truth that have been listening for a while. You know, we all waiting for this to happen. We're waiting for the mirth to be taken out of this land. All this party that people are doing. Let me see here. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad to enjoy yourself once in a while. Absolutely, it's okay. But just know that there's a length, there's a balance, to everything. You're not supposed to be doing it all the time, 24/7. All right, because we're not in that time right now. We're in a time of war, so you gotta, be wise and not do that all the time. Um, Isaiah 24 and 8. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of a harp ceaseth. I'll go down further. Let's go to it says the new wine mourneth, the vine languish, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. And that's what we're waiting for. All right, that's why I read that again. But it also speaks about mirth being turned into lamentation as well. Let me see if I can find that. It speaks about the let me see. 1 minute. Let me see. Mirth turned into hat. I remember I read it before. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. Tobit 2:6. It is right here. This is the title of this lesson as well, the main point. So the Lord's getting ready to cease the mirth in this land, okay? Because when all these things, when all these different wars happen and all these different more judgments get sent, we're going to see more and more that this place is going to become mirthless. No more mirth, no more parties. The Lord's going to take all that away, okay? He's getting ready to take all this mirth, this party out of this land, and we can't wait because we're tired of these people that are living in great pride. Tobit 2, verse 6. It says, remembering that prophecy of Amos, as he said, your feast, because the Lord despises everybody's feast days. Those that are just celebrating these holidays and living good, living the American dream. The Lord doesn't like it. Yahweh Shai does not like it. He despises your feast days. Remember the prophecy of Amos, as he said, your feast shall be turned into mourning, and all your mirth into lamentation. The Lord's going to turn all the mirth, all the parties, into lamentation. What's lamentation mean? Okay, look up mirth first. Let's look up what mirth means. And then we're going to go to lamentation with that. Right? That's like it says in Tobit, right? Let's look up that word mirth. It says mirth, especially expressed in laughter, right? High spirits, right? This is mirth. Go deeper than that. Give us some time here. Bear with me here 1 minute, please. Okay, let's see. It's going to go more definitions of what mirth means. It says this. It says it's especially expressed in laughter. It says, I don't know why they're not giving me any more definitions. Let me see here. Okay. Mirth. It says the meaning of mirth is glad. It says gladness. Okay. Deity as shown by accompanied with laughter. It says mirth is joy to you. So basically, party, fun, having fun, laughter, partying. It's basically partying. It's like marrying, giving in marriage, partying, so on and so forth. That's what mirth means. It goes back to high spirits, joy, you know, enjoying themselves, parties all the time. And when you look up that word lamentation, because the Lord is going to turn all this mirth, all this parties into lamentation. Let's look up that word lamentation. I'm going to close it out. I don't want to make this too long. Lamentation. Lord willing, this is edifying. So lamentation means, it says, okay, that's not what lament means. A being lamented, that's not what it means. Let me see here. Yeah, because I'm not gonna make this too long. But basically, lamentation means, same thing with sorrow, all right, or pain. It's going to be turned into terrible weeping and wailing. Mirth is going to be turned into weeping and wailing. All right, the Lord's going to turn all mirth into weeping and wailing. Basically, that's what lamentation goes back to. So all these people out here celebrating these holidays and living it good, the Lord's going to turn all their mirth, their parties, mirth goes back to partying, into lamentation, into weeping and wailing. He's going to turn all that into weeping and wailing, like you saw in the video of the floor collapsing. That's a good example right there. The mirth is being turned, the parties are being turned into weeping and wailing. All right, the Lord's turning all the parties into terrible times, weeping and wailing. Tobit 2:6, remembering the prophecy of Amos, as he said, okay, prophecy of Amos, your feast shall be turned into mourning. That's what you saw in the video. People were crying, all right, mourning, and your mirth turned into lamentation. Your mirth into lamentation, excuse me. And that's what the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai did in this video here. That's a good example of that. That's what's going to happen to those that are still doing this today. Party, party, party all the time. All right, they're going to be crying because the mirth is going to be turned into lamentation. Okay, like we just read. So the Lord's going to turn all these parties into weeping and wailing. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying because we're not in a time of partying. That's another reason why, because we're in a time of repenting and getting right, and not in the house of mirth. We're not in the house of mirth. I'm going to go into that in the next lesson, Lord willing. All praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Shalom.